Hey, welcome to Divine Awareness. This is Dominic Nelson, and I'm just here to spread a little light about life.
Great
Yes,
sir. Something was already fucking there, under there. You know what I'm saying? And it was people who basically had, knowledge of how the universe was built, far beyond the knowledge of those that built the pyramid much later. They had knowledge of how the universe was built in its primeval form. You know what I'm saying? So they already had cities built under there. There was whole cities built under where the Great Pyramid was forced. And the Great Pyramids was made like sort of a gate into that more ancient culture. You know what I'm saying? That only their depth of knowledge and of numbers and the relationship of numbers could basically access. So you had to be of a high prominence in their society, and you had to be a high adept. And over the course of time, they started bringing in, high chosen of the human beings, hybrids and so forth, that shared mitochondrial DNA betwixt both them and human DNA. The mysteries and occultic numerical mysteries of the universe as expressed through the Giza. And then as you went further down in the Giza, you was being expressed further and further into the adept mysteries, until ultimately you accessed what they would call the universe, or the mysteries of those non-corporeal beings that became corporal, non-flesh beings that became flesh, that lived deep under the Great Pyramid of Giza. And stereograph has shown that in addition to there being a city under where the Great Pyramid of Giza, in addition to there being a city under there, even deeper under the Great Pyramid of Giza is halls and caves and living spaces. And these dwelling places, they carbon date millions of years. You know what I'm saying? So it shows that the Great Pyramid, as antiquitous as human beings would like to think that it is, was only made as a later representation of the knowledges that was already predating that, already there in that fixed position in a nodal point of the earth as they chose it to be, to harness that geomagnetic energy, that torsion wave energy.
So they had to build the inner sun in the ground.
Yeah, they basically, chose to live underground, but you know what I'm saying? By doing that, you was in greater access of the torsion, and the geomagnetic energies, and you can use that to more properly fund your technologies to keep you alive. And the atmosphere that was not, that much akin to the atmosphere you was used to living. See, I came from a planet that had much greater gravity, or much lighter gravity. Then I had to conform the gravity of this now place that I dwelt in, using technologies and so forth that I brought from my own planet. And so that's what they was recorded as having used. Sarcophagi that later got used by the pyramids that said to kept them living forever or into the afterlife was only models of earlier hyper sleep chambers that those beings actually had to use to keep their cells in proper order every now and again, every couple hundred years.
The cells.
To replenish the cells. That's what hyper sleep
chambers. How long would
is.
they sleep for?
Well, the time would vary, but
would they used to sleep for 1,000 years? Or?
Yeah, about 1,000 years. That's where, like I told you earlier, the mysteries of Odin's sleep came from. With Thor. So every 900 or so years, Odin had to go into this hyper sleep chamber, and he had to indulge this sleep to basically recharge his cells, keep them younger, and then he will be able to come up with a much longer lease on life and be able to give dictates. But he was living as the leader of a very futuristic, civilization. That stories only came from Earth, and this antiquitous beings that came down that had hyper sleep chambers, that found, the resting places of these, these long lost non-corporal beings, and decided to build upon their knowledge for the posterity of their own species, So their species started building, like I said, this wasn't the first world, in Earth that we enveloped. There was like millions upon millions of years of people enveloping the entire Earth, building monuments and crystal pyramids and pyramids of all different forms of minerals, to basically represent 432, 72, 9, 36, 7, and all these different numerical constants. They've been building that for millions of years. They've been wiped out by earthquakes, sea levels that rose and enveloped their resting places. But then, thousands of years later, another civilization having come up with knowledge, whether from deep in space or even, lifting up, finding the knowledges of those more ancient peoples, built monuments where those monuments once was, or where the new resting place of the ley line or the torus and geomagnetic energy of the earth was. You know what I'm saying? We currently are on a ley line of this geomagnetic torus and wave energy. That's why we have certain monuments along certain places. That's why they built like crystal, like New York was built in the blueprint of a pyramid, because they knew back then that they had found an ancient resting place of this torus and ley line energy.
The energy.
Yeah, so they could preserve and make the best use of that energy. See, if I knew back then, that we was on a ley line, then I would, with the knowledges, build a pyramid there.
Oh yeah, get divine awareness. It change your life right now. Don't miss out on it. Cop it on Amazon Kindle right now. Divine awareness. Thanks for your support. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Thanks for clicking. Live, laugh, love well. Hope you enjoyed it. Like, comment, and subscribe. Oh yeah. Until next time. Always on my mind. Ha 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 ha.